Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, nowadays they're pretty much thrown in there together, so I decided why not already review Silent Night, Deadly Night, the new film from Mike P. Nelson, which is a sort of relaunch of sorts, reboot. I don't know what you want to call it anymore. This is totally different from Silent Night, Deadly Night in 1984, I believe. So this movie comes to us 40 years after that film, and you have, of course, Rohan Campbell. I am a Corey Cunningham truther, huge fan of Halloween Ends, and will always be one. So this movie was one of the first films that they showed at Fantastic Fest as part of their secret screeners. Now, this is one of those movies that is truly a midnighter. We watched this right at midnight at Fantastic Fest, and I'm telling you, there's no other better way to watch this one. You're watching this movie at midnight, you're eating some junk food. I had to order some chicken tenders to get ready for this one when they announced it. Like, I was like, I'm not eating, I'm done for the day. But I was like, okay, I gotta watch this movie with some chicken tenders or something, right? And truly was the best way to enjoy this film. So this movie basically takes the concepts of Silent Night, Deadly Night, which came out in 84, and gives it a bit of a twist. And I was worried that it was just going to try to be a shot-by-shot remake sort of thing. I really like remakes that sort of take the essence and then do something weird and different. And this one, pretty weird and different. So let's get into it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. So this premise basically follows a child who witnesses his parents be murdered by a man in a Santa Claus suit, and then things just get crazy and weird. Now, what I really love about this film is that it is not just a horror movie. It is a comedy and sort of a coming of age. I think we can throw that in there with a bit of a rom-com sprinkle throughout. Yeah, this movie gets into a lot of genre bending, and I should have known. It's Fantastic Fest. That's not the book from this year. This was last year, but I do have the other ones somewhere floating around here. Trust me, if you've never been to Fantastic Fest, truly one of the best festivals out there. But this movie blends a lot of genres together, and that's what I really loved about it, that it wasn't just trying to be some slasher and all this. It almost feels like a pulpy comic book as well, like you're opening up a graphic novel about a guy who kills people in a Santa Claus suit, and it kind of makes a lot more sense that way as well. I think, especially when I'm going to tell you this comparison right here, you've probably heard it a million times if you've been looking into this movie and stuff like that. This is Dexter meets Venom, because there is a sort of meta vibe to it, and almost like they're talking to the audience at the same time, but they're not really talking to the audience. It doesn't break the fourth wall like that, but it kind of has its commentary on the sides, which I think added more depth to the movie, and I really love that. I think that this movie is going to have some kills that people are going to be talking about for sure, because it gets pretty wacky and crazy. There's sequences in this movie that I think you're going to see a lot of people applauding and screaming and hooting and hollering if you watch it in the theater, which I think is the best experience for this movie. Enjoy it as a communal experience, which is how you want to enjoy the movies. It was fun to enjoy this with a full audience, with people just laughing, cheering, and just getting excited with things that were happening. This is a movie that has a ton of energy for sure. I think Rohan Campbell is such a great actor as well. I want to see him in more things as well beyond the horror space, because I think he definitely has the chops for it. Like I said, Corey Cunningham truther here. The Halloween Ends video is coming for you. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make you rewatch that movie and see it in a different light. I'm just kidding. I really love that movie though, but if you hate it, it's totally fine. I totally understand too why people hated Halloween Ends, but I'm always gonna love it, and I think on every rewatch I'm just gonna adore it even more. But this movie really sees Rohan Campbell become this sort of like slasher in the Santa Claus suit. So Rohan Campbell's coming here to take over all of the classic slashers for sure. But I think Mike P. Nelson is going to do a great job at bringing those people that enjoyed it as a cult classic, people that maybe have remembered it but don't really remember it that well, and give them something fresh and new, which is what you always want from a filmmaker. You want them to give it a little bit of a spin and have a bit of their own voice behind it, and I think you truly get it here. Mike P. Nelson, of course, has done some VHS segments. He's also worked on Wrong Turn. He just gave us the Sweet Revenge little short for Jason Voorhees, which I liked. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I thought it was totally fine. And by the way, the Friday the 13th show just wrapped. I'm going to talk about that later this week, so stay tuned. But I really do think Mike P. Nelson has an interesting voice. He kind of has like a wacky horror vibe to him, which I like. And at the same time, it still feels a little bit grounded, which this movie does as well. So it's kind of balancing between feeling like a true like Halloween slasher and then ultimately ending into some wackiness like Terrifier series and all of them, and almost like a grindhouse vibe. This is like a grindhouse movie meets a pulpy comic book graphic novel as well, because it gets pretty wacky. There's a lot of pop-up art as well throughout certain events that happen here, and I just couldn't put my finger on how exactly exactly to describe this movie because it just blends a lot of different genres. It's not a scary movie either. It's not going to have you like have these pop-up scares or jump scares or anything like that. This movie is more there to sort of be like, hey, let's follow this guy as he like wreaks havoc through this town and does some crazy fucked up shit to a lot of people. And I think you're going to be surprised by it. I'm not going to give much more away because I think if you really dive into the plot, it kind of takes away that element of surprise at what exactly this movie is trying to accomplish. And I think that's definitely something that you want to just witness if you're going to watch this movie. Now, this movie is coming out till Christmas Day, I believe, or Christmas week. So we're still a bit away from it. I think it's definitely going to be a good tone shift, especially with the holiday seasons. If you're getting tired of watching the same old Christmas movies and things like that, you want to put something a little bit more aggressive, then this one's going to be it. And I'm excited to see what people say about it. I'll talk more about it once we do spoiler talks for it. That's going to be till Christmas. So that's my present to you right there. If you're a fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night, we'll talk spoilers for that movie then. But I'm very curious to hear what you think about it once you get to watch it, or if you've already watched it at Fantastic Fest or wherever it may be, let me know in the comments down below. But honestly, if you hated the Silent Night, Deadly Night film, or if you love the Silent Night, Deadly Night film, I implore you, check this one out. It's different and it's going to give you something you weren't expecting at all. It's more of a comedy than a horror, but it still has some pretty gnarly kills in it as well. And it's going to surprise a lot of people, I think, in the way that it takes the story, makes it new, makes it fresh, because I was honestly surprised by it. I didn't expect anything that happened in this movie, and by the end I was like, yeah, that was a good midnighter, good midnight fun movie. You know, those midnight madness type vibes. You know, you go in and you're just expecting something bizarre and strange, and this is exactly what this is. So that's what Silent Night, Deadly Night is. It's not a scary movie per se, it's more of a wacky horror comedy. So that's all I'll say about it. Let me know what you think about it, and I enjoyed this a lot. I would definitely watch it in the theaters if I could. Maybe matinee price. I don't know if I flesh out the $10 or $15, whatever the movie prices are going nowadays for it, but it definitely is an experience I would want to have in theaters, or if I watch it at home with a bunch of people, or just if I'm by myself, bunch of snacks, chill, relax, and just watch something truly bizarre. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Hit the subscribe button for more on all the things you love, and I'll see you next time. 50,000 subscribers is the goal. Stay safe, stay positive.